So can we say this has been the year of Arabic brands? I think so. Not only have they been releasing so many great fragrances, but these are fragrances that can easily compete toe to toe with other higher priced fragrances globally. Hi, my name is Kiki and welcome back to my channel. I hope you and yours are doing great. And if it's your first time being here, welcome. Please hit the subscribe button so we can connect and become fragrance friends. Now, today's video is all about some Arabic fragrances that I consider to be near perfect dupes of original fragrances that are higher priced. If you'd like to know what my thoughts are on them, why don't you get settled, get hydrated? Let's get into the video. So we're going to start off with one that is not really popular, but it is, if you know the original fragrance, then you'll be so impressed by the quality that we have here. I'm talking about Vintage Castle, and this is from the Lattafa Emirati niche collection. Look at this bottle. Lattafa, Lattafa, Lattafa. Whoever is in your design team or heading your design team deserves a promotion, because what is this gorgeousness here? This is a work of art. This looks like a building, a castle. We have doors around it. You have the entryway here as well. Look at the cap. It feels so heavy. You're definitely getting a workout holding this up. This is the cap, very high quality. And you know, the atomizer here, everything is just, I'm just in love with this. And underneath it, you can see the name Vintage Castle written here. Just very, very impressed with this design. Now, like I said, it's not really popular, and I would understand because even the original fragrance has a small but cult-like following. Anyway, Vintage Castle by Lattafa came out this year, 2024, is inspired by Sole Patchouli by Virtus. This is what it looks like. And let me tell you something. If you are into patchouli as a fragrance, I like to call myself a patcho. I think that's the nickname for patchouli lovers. Patcho. Anyway, if you're a patchouli lover and you don't know this fragrance, oh my gosh, you're missing out. Sole patchouli is literally different layers of patchouli, but not like a dry, very old sort of leafy patchouli. No, we're talking about freshly cut green like patchouli, but again, fresh, right? And it has a slight mintiness to it with marshmallows. Just imagine that there's a sweetness, there's the freshness, a little bit of pepperiness coming from that mint-like nuance you're getting here. That is the element of Sole Patchouli. And oh my goodness, anytime I wear this fragrance, anytime I wear it, I get compliments from men, from women. It smells very classy, it smells very expensive, it smells so put together. You smell like you're literally going on a yacht or that you are from wealth. There's something that that patchouli with the sweetness of the marshmallow does to the olfactory, you know, organs or whatnot, making it just smell so good. Now, it's not everyone that can pull this off, and I say that in the most humble way, because patchouli turns differently on people. On my skin, thanks to God, it turns sweet. Patchouli is sweet on my skin. And so when I wear this, that sweetness is amplified with the marshmallow, and it just becomes so mouth-watering and very addictive when people smell this off of me and the bubble it creates. There's something about it that just connotes like as if you're a part of the elite crowd per se. That's what Sole Patchouli is about. And on a man, oh, this smells so darn sexy. Like a man wearing this with a suit, he's giving James Bond, you know, very, very elusive in a way, but at the same time, he is well known. That's how good this. You go only by first class or private jet type of things. Just imagine that sort of world and that level of luxury. That's what you're getting with Sole Patchouli. Now, I say all that to say, Vintage Castle is a replica of this. Lattafa, you did an amazing job with the packaging and with the juice. When I tried this the first time, I'm like, you have to be kidding me. You have to be joking with me right now. How did Lattafa deliver this gorgeousness in a fragrance? There is no way I'm going to get through this because it's so potent, it's so long lasting, it smells incredible, has a great bubble and sillage It's literally one to one. These two fragrances are the exact same thing. Of course, in terms of the intensity, Soleil Patchouli gets it, it takes it by another level. I would say in terms of intensity, let's say this is 100, Vintage Castle is at about 90. It's that good, and I'm sure the more it ages and gets darker and richer, in a dark room, this will get more concentrated and may meet up to the level of potency that Soleil Patchouli has. So, if you're a fan of patchouli, looking for something different that is fresh and sweet, perfectly unisex, more slightly leaning actually towards the masculine side, but fragrance is fluid. Definitely check out Vintage Castle. This retails for less than, the last time I checked, less than $50. This full size bottle goes for about $350 for a 100 ml bottle. You may find it at half price at some retailers, but you want to be careful where you're shopping for your fragrances at. But I recommend this 100% if you want to understand what Soleil Patchouli smells like. This is Vintage Castle by Lattafa from their Emirati collection. Next, I've got Portrait Oud, and I love the design of this bottle. It's very minimalistic. The cap is made of wood, and yeah, simple, easy to hold, a rectangle box. Nothing fancy, but I like. Now, Portrait Oud is by Arabia Prestige. If you don't know the brand, they have a few products out. Not a lot listed on Fragrantica, but I know that they have some great offerings actually. And the few that I have been performing really, really well. I just wish they did a lot more in terms of their marketing and PR because a lot of people do not know them. I have few of their fragrances. Probably do a video about them. Think about that. Anyway, now Portrait Oud is a fragrance that's inspired by the one, the only, the loved Alexander II by Xerjoff. If you know Xerjoff, if you've ever heard about Xerjoff, this is probably the top three fragrance mentioned from the brand beyond Naxos and maybe Dama Bianca. Those are like the top ones mentioned, or Lyra. But I would say in terms of international appeal, Alexander II is there in terms of what people really want. This is a fragrance that is fine luxury. Okay, this is the upper echelon in terms of the way it smells and it feels. Here we have a powderiness, it's a bit musky. You have lavender to calm it down. Just imagine that you're living in a secluded island where it's only the big wigs that can have a piece of the real estate. That is how classy and just sophisticated Alexander II smells as a fragrance. You don't even need so much. This is another one that gets me so many compliments. Like I said, fine luxury is the epitome of Alexander II and how you're going to feel wearing this fragrance. Easy to wear. I love to wear this to the office or for important events where I have to represent, someone or something or a brand. This is what I'm wearing because it's just too good to be true. This small size 50 ml retails for about $325, and then came Portrait Oud. How I stumbled on this, I don't know. No one is talking about this, and that's okay. Portrait Oud is a fantastic fragrance that perfectly recreates Alexander II in a more affordable form. I'm going to spritz this on my clothes. Okay. It recreates it. It brings in the sweetness. But what I would say is this. You really get the true form of Alexander II when Portrait Oud dries down. At the opening, it smells like it, but it's a little bit sparkly. It's like there's almost something champagne-like at that opening. I really can't tell why because the notes it presented are sort of similar, but in the way the notes form, the accord it creates at the opening is not necessarily that powdery muskiness you get at the opening of Alexander II. It's different. Oh my God. Also, it's sweeter. So Alexander II is not a sweet fragrance, but here you have some level of sweetness that just comes through, shines through the wear of this fragrance. So I would say that could be the aspect that is obvious when it comes to comparing both of them. But in terms of the performance, The dry down is where it's at. The dry down is where you really tell the similarities between these two fragrances. And I would definitely recommend this. Long lasting, not a huge projector, but it will stick to your clothes for a good day or more, depending on how you spray. This is also a fragrance that's inoffensive. People enjoy this on me, like I mentioned. It's one of my most complimented fragrances, and I'll recommend this to you 100%. I'm going to put the link to this and all the fragrances so you can get them if you're interested. I love this. The price point, Portrait Oud retails for less than $50 for 100 ml, and I'd also mentioned the price point for Alexander too much. Oh well. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about this one because I just did a video about it. Go check it out. I'm talking about Eclair by Lattafa. I have tormented so many people with this fragrance on Instagram, my reels. I'm sure Lattafa is tired of me, but I love playing on Instagram. I just enjoy that platform. But anyway, Eclair, look at the gorgeousness of this bottle. I did mention in my video my pros and cons regarding this fragrance. Go check it out. I don't want to repeat it here. Now, this is a fragrance that came right on time. And in case you do not know, it is supposed to be a dupe of Bianco Latte by Giardini di Toscana, a 2023 offering that is a gourmand lover's dream. And honestly, you're getting the same in Eclair by Lattafa. No long talk. These two fragrances are one and the same. Performance. This one will stay with you for days. This one, a day. And if you overspray, maybe more. You don't want to. Because with Bianco Latte, I advise people not to overspray. You're going to get nauseated because of how thick and rich it is. But in terms of the composition, the smell, the accord, what it is, blindfolded, you would not be able to tell them apart except you want to be overly critical. Okay, so these two twins, this came in later. This came in first. Isn't yeah, came in first, came in later. Perfect, just one and the same. I love them. 10 over 10. Fantastic fragrances. Eclair by Lattafa goes for less than $40, maybe $50, and Bianco Latte retails for $150 for a 100 ml bottle. The choice is yours. I love them both, and they're staying in my collection. Next, I've got Hibiscus Magic by Fragrance World, and this is part of their artisan perfumery collection. It's a line of their higher priced and, should I say, more exquisitely designed, packaged fragrances. I know that was a mouthful, but there are a few of them from this artisan perfumery collection, and I just love all of them. This is what the bottle looks like. I just love the font. It looks like something very vintage, and I like the way EDP, Eau de Parfum, is written here in clear print. Then the cap, which is my favorite part. It's actually made of foam, but it's been dried up, so it preserves the shape, which I think is pretty neat. Now, Hibiscus Magic came out 2024. It's under the radar for some reason, and this is such a fantastic fragrance in terms of the notes and what it represents. And in case you haven't guessed it, Hibiscus Magic is inspired by or a dupe of Hibiscus Mahajad by Maison Crivelli. This is top 5, one of the best fragrances that has been created in modern perfumery, in my opinion. This one is a fragrance that sits on its own. It's on a class of its own. In fact, I think I'll place this on the same cadre or level as some Guidance as a fragrance, Baccarat Rouge 540 Extrait as a fragrance. This is a 50 ml, right? And honestly, you probably won't be able to go through this in a decade because of how strong it is as a juice. You literally will smell this months after on your clothes. It is strong. It's an extrait de parfum. Hibiscus Magic. Hibiscus Magic. Whoa. I said that twice for a reason. A third time, Hibiscus Magic. Fragrance World did an amazing job with this fragrance. I don't know what magic they did to create or transfer or transport the accord of this fragrance, which is so difficult to do. It's so difficult to replicate, but they did it and put it into this form, into this fragrance. And let me tell you, do not sleep on this. This is strong fragrance. It smells just like hibiscus mahajad. I can't tell them apart. Honestly, when I spritz this on and it settles, I will have them on both hands and I would not be able to tell them apart. That's how good hibiscus magic is as a fragrance. This smells like a very luxurious bouquet of flowers. You have hibiscus and some rose. It smells like a beautiful Arabic wedding with so much flowers, and it's like freshly plucked flowers from the garden of the king. That is the kind of smell that you're getting, smells of wealth, okay? And you're getting that in this fragrance. You can tell how I'm ecstatic about this because it's worth it. A lot of people don't know about this. Get it, get it, get it. Again, I'm going to put the link to how you can purchase this in the description so you can get it. I said get it so many times. Right now, it retails for less than $40. I know I've been saying that, but that's the price point of a lot of these fragrances. I got this from Fragrance by Canada, and Hibiscus Mahajad currently retails for $295 for a 15 ml bottle. So you'd see this is a way better option, and I don't have to spray this all the time anymore. Fantastic offering, both of them. Definitely check them out. Great fragrances. And finally, the belle of the ball I'm talking about, Bain Al Asra by Paris Corner. Look at this. It is such a ethereal looking shade of pink. This is what I like to call the diamond of the season in Bridgerton speak. I just love it, love it, love it. There's something umbrella-like going on at the bottom. You probably cannot see it right now, the effect here. But this is so beautiful. There's something glazed like about the bottle. I just, it gets me all the time. A bottle designed so well. It's not doing too much. The color just works for me. Anyway, Bain Austria, 2024 release, of course. And the bottle design, color rather, should be a giveaway that this is an inspiration of Guidance by Amouage, a polarizing fragrance. Beautiful, in my opinion. This was crowned, I believe, the fragrance of 2023 by the fragrance community. I know it did win some awards as well because it is a masterpiece. That being said, how does Bain Al-Asra compare? I would tell you this, that you're getting again the same thing, just like how I described with Hibiscus Magic. You're getting the same thing, the composition, the notes, the smell with being as far as you would get in Guidance. However, there's a sweetness that I get from this fragrance in the dry down, which is different from Guidance. With Guidance, it's dries into something creamy, very vanillic, right? It's warm in the dry down. But with Bain Al-Asra, it dries to something sweet, like sweet roses, sweet spicy roses. That's what I get with Bain Al-Asra. It's a little bit lighter than Guidance. Guidance is also, like I mentioned, at the same level as Hibiscus Mahajad, where it's impossible for you to compare its performance, its potency with other perfumes. And so I didn't really expect that Bain Al-Asra would possess that intensity that Guidance bears. Like, that would be wild for me to think that it can be done. But Bain Al-Asra has the same accords. It has the same notes. It has that same, like you're getting it. You would literally wear this and people would think you're wearing Guidance, but you didn't overspray it. It literally has that nuttiness, that nutty aspect of Guidance is present here. It's sweet. It's a bit powdery. Oh, it's so carnal. That's something I was trying to say. The word I was trying to remember when describing Guidance is something very carnal about it, very sensual, very seductive about it. And you're getting it with Bain Al-Asra. This is a fragrance that is so strong. Again, when I'm saying strong, I'm not saying in terms of like beast mode performance. So bear with me. It is strong because you're going to smell this on your clothes like the next day, probably the day after. You get that with Bain Al-Asra, and again, if you spray like I do, with Guidance, you're doing months. So let's not compare apples and carrots and whatnot. So it is strong as a Middle Eastern fragrance is, or an Arabic fragrance. You're getting the strength here. So all of that to say, if you're looking for Guidance, this is the best formulation that I have come across. The one that I thought was close to it was Hipster Oud by Zara, but that was more juicier, fruitier. That was not even intended to be a dupe because it came out before Guidance, but it smelled like it. It was a great alternative. Bain Al was intended to be a dupe of Guidance, and Paris Corner did a fantastic, phenomenal job with this one. Honestly, if you cannot get your hands on Guidance, you get Bain Al and you're good. Spray it over spray it. It's a compliment magnet. I've gotten compliments the times I've worn this fragrance, a pretty fragrance, worth having. I don't mind having both in my collection. If I don't want to take this to travel, I'll definitely take this. And it's just, they did great. I really think that these new fragrance offerings by this brand are worth hyping. Yes, they're worth celebrating and they're worth owning in your collection. Honestly, wearing these fragrances, you're going to be the best smelling person in any room. They're going to smell you before you walk in, and they just smell fantastic. No one would ever know the price point of these fragrances. Not like it's anybody's business, but you will smell so expensive, from the gourmand fragrance to the floral fragrance to the more fresh based one. You're going to smell so classy, so expensive. And the fact that it's Arabic brands doing this, not to say that they're not doing great, but I love the pressure. I love how they're very intentional now about, you know what? We have the market. We're going to make the best out of it and create fantastic fragrances at such an affordable price point. They deserve like the 10s. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel if you haven't, share with your loved ones that I cannot see. I cannot wait. I am tired. It's damn near midnight here. I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Until next time, stay blessed, stay beautiful. You are so beautiful. And I hope you know that the world is your oyster. Make the most out of it. See you soon.